Okay, so I've got my one iPad on Periscope. Oh, wow. Holy cow. That one has a sound. Let's see if we can do this one for YouTube. It's so weird searching for my name. Good morning, everybody. We're having some technical difficulties this morning. Because, that's, I have a black thumb with technical devices these days. It's just, I don't know what to say about that. Oops. Now I can't find myself on YouTube. Is anybody on YouTube? Can you tell me in Periscope, can you hear the sound? I have no idea what's going on. I don't want uploads. I want live streams. There we go. Live now. That's the one I want. Turn, the volume off. Why is the chat not showing up on here? Let's see. Maybe because he's not subscribed. Crapola. Your volume is working on YouTube. Yay! Okay, so we're going to switch back over to there. Holy cow, you guys. What a disaster. I don't know why the chat's not working on this one. It could be because he's not logged in. You can see and chat. Yay! Okay. I prefer YouTube when it's working. I had to log back out and go back in again. Holy cow. When it's working, it works well. There we go. That's not what we wanted. Hopefully that's me. And I'm live. Yep. All right. Yay! We've got the bugs worked out on YouTube. Hello. Wow, technical difficulties. Sorry about that, guys. So let's see if we can get Periscope loaded on this one, and then we can get started. Holy cow, we've wasted 15 minutes. And while I'm doing that off to the side here, because I can't see your Periscope comments, I can't stand on the stool and paint at the same time to see my phone. So as I was saying, now that we have the bugs worked out and you can hear me on YouTube, yay. We have this 4-part painting inspired by the calendar page from my husband's friend, Brent Fraser. And I did it in 4 parts, each section with a different brand of paint that we've already swatched in our product review swatch book. And it was really interesting to try to continue sharing to continue painting the same painting trying to get a similar color or effect with 4 completely different brands of paint. Even when you're using the same colors, you would think that it wouldn't be that hard. It was a lot harder than you think. And some of these brands were easier to achieve that with than others. And I love the Mission Gold. They're very, very vibrant. I did tape it. I don't have my husband's password for the iPad, so that's not going to work. But anyway, so I can't see the Periscope comments. If there's something important over in Periscope, if you could switch over here to YouTube, please, for me, that would be great. I'm not going to fuss with the technical equipment anymore. I'm going to continue broadcasting, and I hope you love the broadcast. But if you're asking me questions in Periscope, please either switch them over to YouTube chat in the live broadcast, or private message me or email me. Hey, Teresa. All right. So I did this. I did tape it. So, hey, Cindy. I did. Now that we have the technical difficulties worked out, yay. I am, like I've said, simulcast on Periscope. If you're over there and you're trying to ask me a question or make a comment or anything, then please come over to YouTube and ask me there. As long as I don't have too many technical difficulties, I will be trying to switch over to YouTube Live. It's a little easier, barring technical difficulties, and it's also better for my YouTube channel, to be honest. So anyway, I did tape this literally right. Hey, Alaska. Hey, I am going there in May, Cindy Lou. I can't wait. It's our anniversary. Woohoo. Anyway, I did tape this, and I have it in my new video camera. So I will be editing it later today and getting it uploaded for you guys at some point. But I wanted to have you see this first while we were working on our technical issues over here on YouTube. And with my equipment, because I have an equipment black thumb lately. Yay, I'm glad, Cheryl, that you figured it out. YouTube, when it's working, is easier, I think. So I'm going to move this, and we are going to work in our review book. We are going on a cruise to Alaska, and I'm not sure what all the stops are. My husband booked it, so I have no idea. I think it is. I'm not sure. I'll have to let you know. Okay, so we're going to start a new page here. We did this page, and we filled it up. So we're going to start a new one. And I just realized I have to make my chart on here. Yeah. We're going to do Winsor Newton. I will let you know. We're going to do Winsor Newton. I have a small Winsor Newton set, pocket set. I think these are Cotman watercolors, which is their student grade. I have a few of each kind, but this is my little set of ones I use when I'm doing the watercolor with mixed media, and I don't care if, I stick an acrylic paintbrush in there or something like that. And then I have this set, which are Van Gogh watercolors. They did not come in this box. Y'all know if you've been watching me for a while that I like the metal paint boxes, and I put them in here. And I had some cake and some tubes. I have kind of a lot of colors. So first thing we need to do before we can do anything is I need to make my grid on here. Because see, I forgot to do it. See, I'm telling you, yeah. You know what? I like watercolor. Watercolor are fun. Okay, so the easy way to do this, let me move all these paints out of the way. I hate math, you guys, like with a passion. Math just literally makes me insane. I can do math. I can do complicated math. I don't like math. So this is what I do. Once I figure it out the first time, I don't want to have to do it again. So I'm going to mark. I'm going to try to keep it lined up. on the edges. This is one of those new pens that Gent Pens sent me. This is the double-ended one, and it's waterproof. I love it. And it would be so great to have like in a travel kit because it's double-ended. You have a super fine point and a boulder tip. Hey, Josie, how are you? Good morning, everybody. Let's see if we can get all the people that over at Periscope switched over to YouTube. I'm not going to keep... Yay, I'm so glad you did. I can't see the Periscope comments for those of you who are just now joining us. My I'm having device issues again because, you know, I have a device. I have an electronics black thumb, so I'm so glad you're here, Michelle. So right now I'm just cheating and I'm copying my measurements and marks over from my other chart because I've got to make a new one. And I forgot because, you know, that's what I do, forget. All right, let's see. Thanks, Michelle. I appreciate that. Okay, so then the trick is to figure out, let's see. You know, it doesn't have to be like super neat, but you want to give yourself some kind of a grid. It's a good idea with some of these to create like a template. This doesn't like writing up against the ruler. First thing I've first time I've had a problem with that. Let's use the Scarlet Lime, which is more like a ballpoint. And it likes writing up against the ruler. Barring technical difficulties, which honestly, Susan, they might be my fault because, like I said, I have an electronics black thumb. It is usually easier on YouTube than it is anywhere else, and the upload and replay is easier because it's almost instantaneous. And for you guys, from a customer service standpoint, that's a fabulous thing. Thanks, Cheryl. And so I want from a customer service standpoint, I want it to be easy for you guys. And I don't want it to have to take me 24 to 48 hours to get video recordings up of broadcasts for you guys to replay. So that's why I'm switching to YouTube. Plus, I can see the chat. The one thing that's never been a problem is the chat. But have a good day, Susan. Okay, so now we're going to do a cross. Figure out how many colors you want to do, and you need to make that many columns. And then I try to do like 4 brands per page is what I've been doing. If your book is bigger, you could do more. And then because the first time I did it, my math was off and I had this huge margin over here. I just thought, okay, this is a good space for notes if you want to make notes. Because, you know. All right, so you have yellow, orange, red, green, blue, purple. Okay, so you can do that. Depending on your printer, it might not like printing over watercolor paper. This is 140-pound watercolor paper, and it does not always go through the printer well. Missed a line. Okay, so let's do we have Winsor Newton and Van Gogh. So the first thing we need to do is get them wet. I'm going to pull them down off the table. I just heard yesterday from Royal makes paintbrushes, but they also make, I think, Pelican and Talons, maybe? Anyway, they're sending me paint. They say they're sending me paint. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is write our color names up here. And we've been, if I look up here, so I'm going to compare it. I want to do similar colors each time, no matter if I'm starting a new card. So let's do cadmium yellow. And this is going to be the Winsor Newton. I only have one sort of You can ask questions on my Facebook page, the Life of Art one. You can also ask questions here. Make sure you tag me if you put a question in the Facebook page so that I see it. I'm going to put cadmium red here, which is in this set is kind of an orangey color. Hey, Lisa, we're going to put alizarin crimson. You didn't miss much. We just had technical issues. For the green, I'm going to use Viridian. Blue, I'm going to use Ultramarine. And this set does not have a purple. So we can't do purple because this little 12 set doesn't have, wait, hold on the phone. I might have purple. Hold the phone. I got a bag of Winsor Newton paints. That's not them. Because, you know, my low-tech storage solution, plastic bags. They're there. Is that them? Yeah, that's them. All right. I bet you there's a purple in here. Yeah, I have Purple Lake. I don't have my glasses on. Where are they? Okay. Evidently I like Purple Lake because I have that a couple of different times. Oh, here, this is better. Dioxazine purple. Okay. So the last thing I'll do off camera is swatch. Hey, Victor, swatch all the Winsor Newton paints I own, but I'm not going to make you watch that. Oh, that was for Periscope followers. Okay. Yeah, let them know over there. Any of you who maybe have both applications open, let them know over there. I am broadcasting, but I can't see any of the comments. Okay, so let's get out a small brush and, you know, I feel like I need to take a deep breath. Okay. All right, let's get out a smaller brush and let's start swatching our colors. Again, this is the Winsor Newton. And look how bright that, and this is their Cotman. These are their student grade. And I like their student grade paints. Some of them are decently light fast. Some of them are not, just like with any other brand. They're pretty affordable. This is the cadmium red, but see what I mean about how orange it is? And you can get their Cotman watercolors and also Van Gogh, which we're also going to do today. They're both kind of a student grade, but they're both available at Hobby Lobby. So if you have a limited budget and you want to start building up your collection of watercolor paints, you can go in there and get literally 1 tube at a time with your 40% off coupon until you have the colors that you want. And if you're just doing art journal pages or greeting cards, you know, something like that, and you're not doing like a big watercolor painting that you know, want to last for 100 years kind of a thing, then these are fine. I did show some pictures recently on my Facebook page of a pen and ink drawing that one of my aunts, who was a college art student, did for me as a gift when I was a kid. And some of the ink is fading. She did a few of them for a few of us nieces and nephews, and mine is the only one that's still readable, and because I sealed it between plexiglass. But the reason that it's fading is because the ink wasn't light fast. So it's a good example of why that you, maybe if you're doing a special piece like a gift for somebody, you want the paints and or ink to be light fast. You can see it by going into my Facebook group. All right, so there's our colors, beautiful colors in the Winsor Newton. And don't forget, you know, if you guys have any questions, to let me know. I can't wait to edit the video for you guys of the 4-part painting, because that's going to be fun. I can't get the cat back on that right now. Hey, Lori. Long time no talk. Okay, so the next one that we'll do is Van Gogh. Whoops. And evidently spelling is just not my thing today. Oh, thank you, Teresa. She did. She was so excited when I restarted the Facebook group, which was her idea in the first place. And she always encouraged me to not do what she did and let her art, you know, just fall by the wayside and not do what what I loved. And she'd be so happy with all of us that we're doing, you know, that we're following our dream. Okay, so for this one, we're going to do permanent lemon yellow. Yeah, she had cancer. She had breast cancer a few years back, and it came back with a vengeance and metastasized into her brain. So she wasn't in a lot of pain at the end, thank goodness. Let's do permanent red deep. We have Viridian on this palette, so let's do Viridian. Ultramarine. And permanent blue violet. So I want to encourage all of you to get together with your friends and do some of these like swatching parties, and have everybody like pick a subject matter, whether it's watercolor, maybe it's going to be pen. Michelle, who is on here from Lady Blue Studios, is doing one of these swatch books with pens and markers. And maybe you want to do it with that. Maybe you want to do it with other water soluble material. And if you're, I love Naples yellow in any paint. And if you're thinking about buying, you know, upgrading your supplies, and one of your friends already has it, you could add it to your swatch book and try it and see if you think that you might want to, you know, invest in that. See how you like it before you actually make the investment. Oh, and pencils. So this kind of experiment swatch book, I think, is a really great idea, and it could be adapted to fit into any art supply. So these are pretty equal, these paints. And of course, you could do it with acrylic too, paint. You might want to add some retarder to the paint. I don't know, on some of the blending things, it might dry a little quickly. I don't know, you'd have to try it, but I think it would adapt well. And it would be fun to do one of these with acrylic paints and compare like some of your cheaper like craft acrylics to some of the artist ones and see how pigmented, what the difference is. So, you know, those are pretty equal in my opinion, and they're both very affordable. They're both available at Hobby Lobby. Okay, let's dry these. And I think this is the first time you guys are seeing the upgraded book, isn't it? I had to do a bigger book because we quickly ran out of the space in the old one. Or sticks. You could do watercolor sticks, blocks. You could do, yeah, traditions. Paint. I love the traditions paint from Deco Art. It's one of my favorites. So we're going to divide this into fourths. You very much could on this, I've been asked a couple of times, do a stamped image. You don't have to do a drawn image. And, you know, of course, as soon as images are finalized, I'm coming out with 4 new sets of rubber stamps. So you definitely could stamp them on here. Hint, hint. All right, but let's do a little house. Just a simple little, you know, box. I want to use the other end. Let's see. There we go. We're not looking for Picasso here. We're just doing a little practice art piece using the colors we just compared on the other page. You know, a simple little house that you probably learned how to draw, you know, in elementary school art class when you first learned about perspective. Thank you for about the new book cover. The first set, Lisa, the first set of watercolors. That's a little Winsor Newton Cotton Mint pocket set. It's only got 12 colors. The problem with that set, if you're going to watercolor with it, in my opinion, is it doesn't have a purple and it doesn't have a Payne's gray. So I would switch out a couple of the pans. It does have white and like 2 browns. I would take one of those, the white out and one of the browns out, and I'd switch and I'd put purple and Payne's gray in there. And it has yellow ochre too. I would maybe think about taking, you have 3 like brownish colors. Oh, the stamps. Oh, thank you. All right, so now we're going to do our little paintings. Yep, we need to mark them. Whoops. You ever have one of those days where you just feel like you're off? Like I can't even spell this morning. My spelling's never great, but okay. Well, the nice thing with watercolor about doing a swatch book, whether you have one brand or a whole bunch of brands, is the paints, especially with watercolor, but also with acrylic, look very different in the tube or in the pan than they do on paper or canvas. Yeah, making the grid is the longest part Okay, so let's use our same colors we already used, and let's do the Winsor Newton first. Dana, try putting mixing the paints with some gum arabic. They might need to you might need to add, if they're old, you might need to add a little bit more binder to them, and that may fix the problem. I would add a little gum arabic to it and see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to we're going to start with our colors, our warm colors, the colors that remind us of sunlight and warmth. When you look, oh, what did I just do? Holy moly, people, did you get that? Let's lift that, shall we? Holy cow and crapola. I told you I feel off today. So you notice that the paint lit, obviously, here's a by accident test. So the paint lifts pretty well. Look at that. That should be Van Gogh. That's not Winsor Newton. Holy cow. Told you I feel off. Maybe I just need more coffee. I don't know. Deep breath. I know, right, Michelle? You know me too well. I need a deep breath. Holy cow. But yeah, I would get some gum arabic and add a little bit to it and see if that helps. It probably will. So we're starting with our warm colors, the colors that when you look at them remind you of the hot summer sun, sunlight and warmth. Start with those, put them in the spot, you know, if the sun's coming this way or coming that way, put them, you know, decide where your sun is coming from, and then put all those warm colors in the appropriate place where the sun would be hitting your image. All right, and then we're going to slowly work our way to cooler. So that was the orangey color out of this palette that we used, and now I'm going to the red, which is going cooler. It's alizarin crimson. So alizarin crimson for red is a cooler red. This is, I generally, especially when I'm doing these experiments, I use inexpensive paper. This is Strathmore 140-pound watercolor paper. It's easy to get, it's inexpensive, and when you're practicing and learning, it doesn't cost a lot. My favorite's Fabriano. I like Fabriano paper a lot. I heard a watercolor artist recently, and it might have been Owning's art. I don't remember. I think it was, and he had a good point. If you're doing paintings that you're giving away or selling, and you're thinking about, you know, stretching your watercolor paper and all that nonsense, instead of going to all that trouble of stretching and everything, just buy 300-pound paper. Because you'll save yourself a lot of aggravation. But 300-pound paper, they do make it. It's like painting on a piece of chipboard, but it's really expensive. Thanks. You know, I never hide my mistakes from you guys. You know, I make plenty of them. So it's part of the fun process. It's part of the learning process. And, you know, I don't see the point in hiding any of that. I don't always stretch my paper. It depends on what I'm doing and if it's going to be for sale, that kind of thing. It really just depends. I don't stretch it a lot, I should say. I do sometimes, not a lot though. So these are the little Winsor Newton paints, and they work really well. I don't like stretching it onto a board and taping it down. I have one of these, and I can't think of the name of it right now, but I have this paper stretcher thing that's actually really nice. It's a wood. I actually ordered it from the UK. I don't remember the name of it. I've shown it in video before, though. And you basically soak the paper and wet it and wrap it around this board. And then let it dry, and it stretches around the board. I don't disagree with you, Teresa. I frequently just open up the pad paper and start painting. I like watercolor blocks. They're really easy to work with. But, you know, one of the fun things about art and mixed media is that, you know, there are no hard and fast rules, and you just need to figure out what works for you, try some different things. But like I said, one of the nice things I like about maybe getting people to start doing swatching parties with their friends is, instead of doing what a lot of us did who now know better, and when you start doing mixed media, going out and buying a lot of art supplies because you think you have to have them, and then only to find out that you'd rather not have spent the money on that. If you have friends that have them, then you can try them first, and you could try them in your swatch book and see if you're going to like it or not, and you want to upgrade or you want to invest the money. Art yoga. There you go. Okay, so now we'll do the Van Gogh. Same thing. Now, some colors will lift when you make a mistake like I did, and some colors will not. They immediately stain the paper. So along with, yeah, so, and I'll talk about that more in a minute, Cheryl, along with light fast information. A lot of times the chart from the manufacturer that has light fast information is also going to have staining information. And also some of the colors will be more opaque than others, and that will be on there too. And some will be very translucent. So yeah, you have to soak the paper first. And I actually have an acrylic picture frame, one of those ones with a deep lip. It's actually kind of a big one. I think it's 16 by 20. And you soak the paper for about 15 minutes. And then you can stretch it onto a board and tape it down, or you can stretch it around this blocking thing I have and put it down. That's funny, Lori. I like that. Okay, so vermilion. Now we're going to go with the orange. One of the most important things about doing this exercise is that is the color blending experiments, which we're going to do next. And those are, you know, it's important to practice blending colors. You aren't always going to have the color that you want on hand. And it's important to know, even if you do have lots of colors on hand, what they're going to do if you mix them up together. Something's dinging at me. It's one of my devices. I don't know. Well, that's one of the reasons that we're doing this series, Cheryl, is so that you guys can at least watch me on a high def camera, experiment with as many of these products as I can get a hold of, so that you guys can make an educated decision about what's going to work for your budgets. And whether you want to even try it or not. Let's go with the blue, which is this one. It's a little dry. There we go. You're welcome. Plus, you know, it gives me an excuse to write all these paint companies and say, hey, you know, do you think you guys could help me out? I don't mind doing that. You don't have to sneak, Teresa. But I'm kind of far away from most of you, I think. I shouldn't say that because probably there's some of you that are around the corner. Michelle, you're one of my best friends. If you make it to California, you are more than welcome in the art room. If I could fit a lot of them in my suitcase for, you know, our upcoming trip, I would, but I don't think I'm going to make it through security, and I'm not checking them. So we're going to work our way through to the darker colors. Let's see. Now, you know, I'm working literally, I'm not waiting for anything to dry. And the colors are mixing together. And what you start to get, like right here, is you start to get them to mix together and they're turning gray, because all your colors, that's what happens when you mix all your colors together. You get a neutral. And sometimes that's what you want, and you're okay with that. We'll have to kick the daughter out so there's room for Michelle. Yeah, where are you, Lisa? You I know are in California. You and Ann Williamson. Ann is only like an hour away. So there's our two little houses, and I like them both. Well, I do need to move out of San Jose. It's like the most expensive place in the entire nation to live. I won't even tell you how much that like fixer-uppers cost around here. And of course, Shannon wants me to move to Texas. Oh, Santa Rosa. Yeah, my mother and dad used to live in Ukiah. We drove through Santa Rosa a lot. So now we're going to start on our color blending experiments. And I'm going to flip to, and I'm going to get out my two templates. And we're going to go to a clean page. And we need a pencil. So we've got our circle template. And let's see. Okay, we're going to do two of those. You could do this in pen, but you don't need to. I would just do it in pencil. After you make yourself a template, make yourself a template out of something. Yeah, Anne's got I have just a little ordinary plain tract house. Anne has a beautiful 2-story home. But that being said, I'm glad I don't have a 2-story house. I'm not getting any younger. I think it would be hard for me to get up and down the stairs. Okay. So then we're going to just connect our marks. Well, you know, my dream is someday for us to be, you know, a big enough community making enough money to warrant having some sort of, you know, retreat. That would be fun, don't you think? I'm multi-talented to make myself sick. I figured the bills out, chatted with the lovely people here. I don't multitask well anymore. Now that I'm over 50 and been through menopause, it's like, I don't know, my brain doesn't multitask well. The older I get, the worse it is. See, there you go, Josie. You and Victor have to get together. My daughter's boyfriend's from Lithuania. I don't know that that's too far, relatively speaking, from Ukraine. Oh, that's Beth with the art barn. Yeah, we could meet at the art barn. Yeah, somebody has to tell Beth she needs a retreat at the art barn. I think that's in Canada, but that's, you know, I've always wanted to go to Canada, so I'm okay with that. All right, so Windsor Newton. My daughter works for a travel agency, so. And then Van Gogh. Now, when you do these color blending exercises, of course, you can do them with a ton of colors, or you can limit your colors. We're going to limit our colors. So I'm going to do cadmium yellow. We're going to just do primaries like we did before. Then skip 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do a red. So we're going to do alizarin crimson. And then 1, 2, 3, and then the blue ultramarine. Oh, cool. I would love to see that. Yeah, I go to visit my daughter's boyfriend's parents, and it's so cute. Dad has a really cute accent, but I don't know what they're saying when they start. You know, I have trouble with English, so. Some of the best vodka, though, I gotta say. One, two, three. So here, and we'll do permanent red. One, two, three. So then ultramarine. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, you know, I never did vodka shots before I met Paulius and his parents. It never occurred to me. Holy cow. They go down a little too easy, if you know what I mean. All right. So now, first thing that we're going to do. Yeah. I'd like to see me paint after a few drinks. That might be interesting. So the first thing we'll do is we're going to try with the CAD. We're going to do the Winsor Newton, and we're going to put our pure swatches of our color into the space. Oh, good. Well, welcome. So the empty hey Brandy. So empty half pans. I order normally from Cheap Joe's because they're very inexpensive over there, or Jackson's in the UK, which surprisingly enough, more often than not, is cheaper even with shipping. I always use basic, but you can use any colors, and we can discuss that as I'm painting. I should be painting while I'm talking about that. So we're going to do the alizarin crimson next. So the best way to do this color wheel blending exercise is use a red, a yellow, and a blue. Now you can use any red, yellow, or blue. And which ones you use are going to give you different results. So, you know, maybe do it once with, you know, closest that you have to your primaries, but then the next time that you do it, switch it up and use a different yellow and a different red and a different blue. I saw somebody, and I don't remember who. It might have been Owning's art. I don't remember. And he did it with his yellow was like yellow ochre, and the red was it might have been alizarin crimson, and then the blue was like Prussian blue or something. It's Cheap Joe's in the UK. I mean, Cheap Joe's in the US and Jackson's Art in the UK. Go directly to the website. Don't go through Amazon. Do yourself a favor. I like Amazon. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan. I placed an order last night. But go directly to the website. Okay, so now we're going to do the ultramarine. Okay. Now I'm going to mix half and half my yellow and red, approximately. You know, there's no hard and fast rule to this. And then I'm going to put that in this blank space in the middle. I could make that a little darker by doing a little more paint, a little less water. But the alizarin crimson is a blue-red, and then adding yellow to it, you get almost this nice kind of darkish flesh tone color out of that. You see that? That's one of the reasons why it's one of my favorite colors. So now I'm going to take part of this and I'm going to add the rest of the yellow to it. And then I'm going to put that here next, closer to the yellow swatch. And then I'm going to take the other part. I'm going to add the rest of the red to it. You're welcome. And I'm going to put it over here. And look at those 3 different colors you got out of just those 2 tubes of paint. Right? So now I'm going to wipe this off my plate. All right. And we're going to grab some more of the alizarin crimson. And we're going to take our plate here and we're going to mix it half and half with the blue. That's a pretty color. Then we're going to take and we're going to add more blue to some of it. You should get a really dark violet color. And then take the other part and add the red to it. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? All right, wipe the plate off again. You guys are welcome. I love doing this. All right, so whoops, that was the wrong blue. So those are my 2 favorite websites to get stuff from, Jackson's Art in the UK and Cheap Joe's. Yes, so that's how I do my Daniel Smith doesn't sell their paints in a cake. I think they used to, but they don't. Everything's in a tube. Lots of them are from natural minerals, so they're not pigmented the same as other kinds of paint. And you need to have a palette and then empty pans. So, and the size of the pan is just going to depend on you and what you like. This is a half pan. These bigger ones in this Van Gogh palette are the full pan. If you get the full pans, you can fit less in the if you use a metal palette, you're going to get less in there. So if you want to do the full pans, get the big 48 pan palette because you can get 24 full pans or 48 half pans. Or like this one's a combination of. So I put the colors I don't use as much in the small pans. Yeah, they do fit in there. They fit, yeah, use an Altoid container if you've got it. Use it. They fit in there nicely. And you don't need lots of colors as we're showing here. You can get, look at all these different colors we got. We're only using 3 tubes of paint. So here I'm going to do half and half. Although you all know one of my favorite colors is Moon Glow, and that's not going to be in your basic 3 tube of paint. Get some Moon Glow. That's a good color. Okay, so now I'm going to take and I'm going to add some more yellow to that. They do make a watercolor stick. I haven't tried them yet. But when we go to Alaska, we're going via ship out of Seattle. So I'm trying to talk my husband into letting me either when we go or when we come back to do a side trip to the Daniel Smith store. I'm working on him. So now I'm going to add some more blue. And there's a really nice kind of a Prussian turquoisey blue color that would be great for water. And look at those, look at all of those colors from 3 tubes of paint. Now, like I said, which primary colors, you know, which shade of red, yellow, or blue that you use is going to give you a completely different color wheel. But I do know Daniel Smith sells some of their tubes in small sets. I think they're a 5 mil tube instead of 15. And get one of those and just practice and do some of these color wheel experiments and see how many different colors you can get. Okay, so now we will do the Van Gogh set. And Opera Pink is fabulous. And also they have a cobalt, is it cobalt teal? All right, so now we're gonna do the Van Gogh set. It's a little dry. Let's spray some of these. Mission Gold is, you know, they're very pigmented. I liked working with them this morning. You'll see on the video, I did a lot of blotting though. Or we're not supposed to call it blotting, lifting. They're very pigmented, like the orange is really shockingly bright. So I would think that with the Mission Gold, there's a little bit of a learning curve. And there's no reason why you have to stick with one brand. You know, maybe you like Moonglow and Daniel Smith, but you like the red from Schminke and you like the Prussian blue from Winsor Newton. Make a custom palette. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, I'm so glad. Well, and I'm going to keep repeating this exercise until y'all start getting a clue. we're gonna or until our book is filled up. But it's something that you should not just do once and then forget about. You should keep doing it. Those of you who are on Periscope and are watching, I'm not seeing the comments, and I keep forgetting about you guys. So you have to come over to YouTube, otherwise I'm not seeing the comments. So now I'm going to mix half and half. The nice thing about not seeing the comments over on Periscope is if there's trolls over there, I have no idea. I guess that's a good thing. So I'm going to do half and half. If you're just making cards and tags and doing mixed media, then maybe you don't want to invest a lot of money in watercolors. But if you're going to start doing watercolor painting, then you probably want to upgrade just a little bit. So this permanent red is a really strong. See, that's it. I don't care if there's just one of you or if there's 25 of you. I will be here regardless because you know, I love you guys. So I added some more yellow to that. The red on this is really strongly pigmented. Yeah, no, please, Teresa. No, no, no. I don't miss the trolls. The trolls and the, I don't know, sex workers or whoever they were. That was just craziness. Okay, so there's some. My rag is getting icky. All right. Now let's do red and blue. One of my favorite colors in the Van Gogh is a a color called Purple Lake, and actually I don't see it on here. Oh no, that's not Van Gogh. That's Winsor Newton. I'm sorry, is Permanent Blue Violet. Aw, well, you can give me thumbs up. Nobody's given a thumbs up yet. You guys, you know, you could do that. I'm just saying. Everybody could give a thumbs up. And one of you had the idea that if, you know, you didn't have lots of watercolor paint or access to friends with watercolor paint, could I put other mediums in here? Well, sure. You could do one for water-soluble mediums and one for non-water soluble mediums. Why couldn't you? You could do watercolor paints, watercolor pencils, water-soluble crayons all in one book. So trolls, Victor, are people over that when I was broadcasting on Periscope that would come on just to say nasty things. Use foul language, you know, they were just mean people. Yeah. So you can tell I didn't have too much water on my paintbrush here, and I did here. That's how come the color is lighter. One of the reasons the color is lighter. Oh, thanks, Cheryl. All right, so now let's do blue and yellow. Oh, see, you guys figured out how to give me hearts. Look at that. Okay, so we'll do half and half. Then we'll add more blue to some of it. More yellow to some of it. And maybe you just have a few inks or something like that. You should do it with what you have. All right. I like being live for you guys as much as I can, especially on YouTube. I'm going to do it once a week. If I can do it more, some weeks I'll be able to do twice a week. It'll just depend on my schedule and if people are home. I like it because you guys can ask me questions. So this is just another color blending exercise. And yeah, this will be up on YouTube. So let's do this. It's just another color blending exercise. Different way of doing it, and you can find more colors. Again, I made myself a template because, you know, math and me, yeah, we're not friends. I'm not going to be able to do any hashtag events or Periscope hops for a while. There's too much going on. Oops. So some of you have seen me do this particular blending exercise before. It has the same kind of idea that the other one does, but this is a way to get even more colors. I know, right, Michelle? You just realized that? All right, so I encourage you to do at least one of these in your product review book. You don't have to do both of them. And honestly, of the two, the color wheel is easier. So I want you to do one of them. I'm going to show you how to do this again. I've shown it before with the other paint brands. And again, you can totally do this with acrylic paint. This is not just a watercolor thing. Yeah, Michelle, have I mentioned to you or Cindy that I don't fly well alone? Just FYI. So I must love you guys to be doing this. I'm going to be dropping Periscope at some point. I shouldn't say that. I will be on Periscope when I'm doing, say, a Periscope hop with Susan Hiles. And I may occasionally simulcast with Periscope. I won't be watching the comments at all. I can't see them right now. My phone's up there. But I like YouTube better. I like the recording has a full screen. It's not a little tiny screen. I don't have to optimize it. It doesn't take 5 million years in a day to get it loaded. Yeah, well, remember, Michelle, I have anxiety disorder. That's all I can say about that. It's not good. Okay, so now I'm going to write the colors that I'm using. And so here and here is going to be the yellow. And then here and here will be the red. And then here and here will be the blue. Okay, and this is the Winsor Newton. So this is how you do this one. And I want you to pick one of these that appeals to you better. You may prefer, like I said, to do the round one, and that's fine. Are you, Cindy Lou, are you in Las Vegas? Where these two columns meet, right here, will be the pure pigment. So we're going to put this yellow here. Okay. Now we'll do the red, the alizarin crimson. Where they meet, which is here, it's going to be red. It's a little dry. There we go. Need my plate back again. Here, we're going to do a mixture of red and yellow. We're going to have this one be more on the red side. So we're going to grab some of the red, mostly red, and a little bit of yellow. That was a lot of yellow. That was too much yellow. Let's put some more red in there, shall we? There we go. And this mixture that's more on the red side will go here. Okay, then we're going to add more yellow to it and make it more on the yellow side. And that goes here. Look at those different colors we got. You killed Chad again. See, Teresa, what did you do? Holy cow. It's all your fault. All right, so now we'll do blue. Where they meet is going to be the pure color. So we're going to just put the blue there. Now, this one's a little different. So here we've got the blue meeting the yellow. And then we're going to put a little bit of yellow in it. And put that here. And I'm just doing all my mixing on a white dollar store plate, dessert plate. And then I'm going to add a little more yellow, and I'm going to put that color here. And there's no formula to this. You just put a dab of this and a dab of that. It's kind of like cooking. All right, so then we need more blue. So let's get another blue pile over here. And let's grab some red. And we will put some red in there. A little bit of red. We want this one to be more on the blue side. And we're going to put that here towards the blue end of our color chart. Then we're going to rinse our brush off and grab some more red. And put that here. And look at all those colors, again, that you got out of only 3 tubes of paint. Yeah, that works. I like this plate because I mostly only use it for watercolor, and it has a little bit of a lip on it, and I tend to be a sloppy painter, so, but whatever's cheap. My rag is very dirty. Okay, hold up. Baby wipe time. There we go. That's better. So let's put this one aside. And then let's do the Van Gogh. And we will do permanent lemon yellow. And if you're trying to decide between a couple of different brands of paint, I obviously cannot write and talk at the same time, then it's good to do these side by side, and you can test and see which one for you that you like working with better, that blends better, that you think goes on the paper better for you. Maybe you don't want a paint that's strongly pigmented like the Mission Gold. Maybe you prefer something that's not that strong. That's always a possibility. I have not had, that's a good question. I haven't had any problems with molding, but these palettes today, and right after this taping, I will have 5 of them out and open. I will leave them out for 2 days and let them really dry out. I don't close them back up until they're not juicy anymore. They have to be bone dry. If you do that, you shouldn't have any problem with them getting moldy. If you live in a humid area, how long you have to do it might be different. I'm in California. Teresa's hilarious. All right, so now we're going to do the same exercise, but we're going to do it with the Van Gogh. But yeah, I leave them open for at least a day. It depends on how wet I've gotten it and how long it's going to take to dry. It depends on how wet I've gotten it. So there are a couple of brands that stay sticky. and I don't like that. Sennelier is one of them. They're made with the binder is usually honey, and I am not a big fan of one that stays wet. Because of the way I store my paints, I like them to be to dry out. Well, we have a mixed crowd, so while I don't mind a good dirty joke now and then, I try to not have that on YouTube because sometimes there's kids watching. If not the live broadcast, then the taping. I'm in San Jose, California. All right, so that's our yellow, and where it met, we put yellow. So now let's do our red. And look at, this is the red I said was really pigmented. That's after I've put a lot of water in it. So it's a pretty good red. I like the Van Gogh paints. They're fun to play with. They're good quality student paint, and they're affordable. Okay, so where they meet is red. No, keep them open. So when you've been painting like we are right now, and you've gotten your paints all wet, don't close it right away. Leave it open at least overnight and let it dry out before you close it. Otherwise, you're going to have problems with it molding. Okay. I'm not super great with puzzles, but go for it, Victor. I shouldn't say that. It just depends on if my brain is like turned on and engaged or not. Oh, Ventura County. That's in Southern California. My brother lives in Redlands. Okay, so here we're going to put the blue. Okay, so here we have our red meets yellow. Oh, he did a video. Oh, cool. I love gifts from Victor. I owe a lot of people Happy Mail, and I'm going to be working on that. I have to pay for this. There's a funding issue. Yeah, it probably won't happen until April, but I'm working on it. Okay, so here we're going to mix red and yellow. Because it's closer kind of to the red side, we're going to make it more red. So we're going to mix our colors, about 50-50. More red than the yellow, though. All right, and we'll put that here. And then I'm going to add more yellow to it. No, I haven't seen it. I haven't had time. If you've had it on YouTube, I haven't had time to watch videos, Victor. So that one's more yellow. There we go. And look at the difference between, some of that's because I maybe have more water in here, but not all of it. All right, so now we're going to do the blue. We need more yellow. Some of it's because of my yellow. This yellow is, I don't have cadmium yellow in the Van Gogh. And the cadmium yellow I prefer. It's more transparent. It is less chalky. The permanent yellow, lemon yellow, is a little chalky. Okay, so now we're going to mix our blue and yellow with a little bit of yellow. And we will put that here. I need some more blue. There we go. That's better. So the more water you put in your paint, the lighter the color will be, the lighter of value the color will be. Oh, good. I like surprises sometimes. My husband would be laughing hysterically at that, you guys, just so you know. He's known me a long time. I don't always handle surprises well. Happy Mail surprises I like, though. Okay, and then here we'll grab some of this red, this crazy red that's really bright and very well pigmented. And we'll add a little blue to it. and we'll put it here. Oop. Was that in the right place? Yeah, that was the right place. I lost track of what I was doing. You can do this with acrylics. And then I'm going to add more blue to it. I encourage you to take out whatever paints that you have. They may be watercolor, they may be acrylic, maybe you just have inks. And you should really learn, the best way to learn your materials and what that you can and can't do with them is do some color charts and some color blending. This is 140-pound Strathmore watercolor paper. I don't know what the GSM is. Let's see. 300 GSM. So it's not super thick paper, but it's good enough for this exercise. And whatever, maybe you just have inks, maybe you have acrylic paints. I encourage you to get one of these books together and do it with whatever, and do these color blending exercises. If you have like-minded artistic friends, and maybe one of them has watercolor, one of them has acrylic paint, one of you has water-soluble pencils, make a product review swatch book, and all of you get together, bring what you have, and do these experiments with what you have. I would, if you're going to do a bunch of different mediums in the same book, I would separate them out into sections. One for acrylic paint, one for watercolor paint, that sort of thing. It's not really an inventory book. This is just an experiment and swatch book. And I started doing this as comparison for you guys. A lot of you asked me about what kind of paint you should buy. And so this was a way for you to see on camera what they all look like. Now, this is a Schmincke and Daniel Smith, two of the best, or at least most highly regarded professional watercolor paint brands around. They're well pigmented. This is Mission Gold and Mayberry Blue. And these are dry. They look different dry than they do wet. Oh, Greece. Oh, cool. That's on my bucket list. I'm going to visit Greece someday. And then this is Winsor Newton and Van Gogh. And we're going to go down the list of all the paint brands I either have or can get my hands on. And if you have no art friends near you, that's okay. I have been making high-res color scans of these pages, and they are on my Watercolor Wednesday page on my website. You can actually download these and compare them yourself and decide for you, and what your budget is, what you can afford and what you want to invest in. Think about what you want to do. We're going to just talk about watercolors here for a minute. If you're going to get into watercolor and you're thinking about buying them, first think about, at least for right now, what do you want to do with them? If you just want to do some mixed media work, maybe paint a few cards, that kind of thing, then you probably don't need Schmincke or Daniel Smith. I love Daniel Smith. It's my favorite. I love that their colors are made in the USA. I love that they're made out of natural minerals, a lot of them. I love the way they granulate. There's nothing about them really that I don't like. But that being said, if you're just going to do a few cards and that sort of thing, maybe you want to get a koi set or a Winsor Newton student pocket set like this one. You can get a lot of these at Hobby Lobby. Maybe you want to just get a few Van Gogh tubes. So think about what you want to do with the paint and what your budget is, and then decide. I built up my collection by buying them one tube at a time for the most part. And you all have virtual friends. So that would be why, I have scanned these and you guys can download them and put them in your book. And likewise, if you guys have materials that you have that I don't have, that you've done these tests with, scan them and I will print them and put them in my book. Somebody did some inks recently and they tagged me and sent me the image, and I haven't printed it out yet. The watercolor, not inks, I'm sorry, the liquid watercolor, hydrous watercolors. You can do virtual, exactly. You can do virtual parties. Now, hey, Puerto Rico, yay. Exactly. And now I've already updated the Watercolor Wednesday page here at my website. And I have added links for Winsor Newton and Van Gogh already. And I updated a few other links, added some things I found. And I will add these scans later today. Like right after we are done here, I'll scan them. The other thing that I did is I will be doing color charts for the paints of these brands that I have that we just worked with. And the other thing that I did here is I added pockets when I made this book. And in this back pocket, I have printouts or pamphlets from the different companies. And each one of these has in it the color, like this is the Mission Gold one. Look at all these colors they have. And on here they have how light fast it is, whether it's translucent or not, if it's non-staining or staining, and there's some pigment information on here too that I don't understand. But I printed one of these out for each one of the companies, or in the case of Mission Gold, they sent me this. So if I found a printable, I tried to remember to link it on the Watercolor Wednesday page. Bunch of pamphlets. Yeah, see? You can request some of these pamphlets from the companies and they'll send you information. If you go to their websites, like you go to Golden, and they'll send it to you. I love you guys too. We have been working in Librem. We've been working in our product review swatch book for watercolor paints. And today we added, this is the book. And today we added, well, I'm still chatting. So, you know, me, I'm a talkaholic. So, you know, it's already 11:30, but we're still here. So today we added Winsor Newton and Van Gogh. Here, I'll turn this way. And we did our comparison swatches that we could compare to our other brands. And they compare really well. I don't have cadmium yellow in Van Gogh. And I have permanent lemon yellow, which is a color I like, but it's a little opaque and a little chalky. So it wasn't quite the same. Oh, so have a nice dinner. I'll see you later. Then we did two more little house paintings comparing the two colors. Then we did some more color wheel color blending exercises. These are the 4 that we already had in here. These are the 2 that we did today. Then we did these kind of square chart color blending exercise. Oops, see, that was wet. I closed the book and I didn't dry it first. Oops. Let's get that dry. Shall we put some more paint on there? Had a wet spot. Oh, you're welcome. And then off camera, I will add an color swatch page that has the complete, list of colors I have for these 2 new brands in my inventory to the back of my book. I've already added the printouts from the companies for light fastness and that to the book. And every week we're going to do 2 new brands until we get through most of what I have and or I've been sent. I just found out from Royal that they're sending me some stuff and some brushes. I don't know exactly what they're sending, but they're sending something. And a few companies have said they're sending things. So as they come in, I'll let you know. I did just get this pen from Jet Pens. It is definitely waterproof. I love it. It says zebra. A lot of Japanese stuff. I'll have to see if I can find out from you guys what it is for you guys. It has a super fine tip on one end. And it's got a bolder tip on the other end. I love it. Oh, I love Trader Joe's. Have fun there. They have some really good organic food. Yeah, we all should eat a little less crap. I try hard. I had a big bowl of vegetables and rice last night with a little bit of bacon. Of course, the whole family was like, "You made Brussels sprouts?" I'm like, yes, I made Brussels sprouts. You don't have to eat them. What are we going to eat? I don't know. All right, that's it for today. Don't forget, we have the 4-part painting. When we have 4 more paint brands in the book, we'll do another 4-part painting. Yeah, exactly, Lori. I'm right there with you. I'm trying so hard to eat better, and then Valentine's Day came, right? Holy moly. As soon as we have 4 more paint brands in our book, I'll do another 4-part painting. I did tape the one that I did this morning, so I will get that video up as soon as I can. And I think that's it for today. Yes, there is a video. It's already up on my channel about how I did this. There also is all of the recordings for doing these swatches and everything are all up on my channel. Look under Watercolor Wednesday. Yeah, thankfully gluten's not a problem for me, but you know, I just eat too much other stuff and don't walk enough. I'm trying to fix that, but I was walking so much, I pulled a muscle in my upper leg. So I had to take a couple of days off. That wasn't fun. You're welcome, Lori. It's so great to see you here. And I'm glad you all caught me. I will be back for sure next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Maybe also on Monday. If you're not in my email newsletter yet, they find out first before anybody else what my live schedule is going to be on Sundays. So you can go to my website and sign up for the link for how to sign up for the newsletter list is in there. Yeah, exactly. I like that idea, Victor. If you're in my Facebook group, they find out usually on Monday when I'm going to be live. I do put it out on social media the morning of also. So there's lots of ways to catch me. You guys have a great day too. Yeah, we're artists. We sit on our butt a lot and don't get enough walking in. Hence, this is why I'm trying to go to the gym. Oh, good. Now, also, the email list people are going to be the first ones to know. They're the first ones to know about their live schedule. They'll be the first ones to know when the pre-orders are ready for the new stamp sets. They'll be the first ones to know when the designs are finalized. They are the first ones to know about coupon codes. So if you want to be in on any of that, you have to sign up for the email list if you want to know before anybody else. I also do share things with the Facebook group, but they're usually a day later than everybody else, than the email list. So just FYI. If you want to know any of that, you should be in one of those 2 things. All right, and that's it for today. I will see you all later. Michelle, I can't wait for Las Vegas. It's going to be a lot of fun. Well, you know, I do have to keep funding these broadcasts and my YouTube channel, My Art Supply Habit. My husband's threatening to make a Poor Me public service announcement. You need to support my channel so he doesn't have to be in the poorhouse because of my art supplies. He's threatening. So, you know, I don't know. You can shop in my Etsy shop. You can hit the support button here on YouTube. My channel here on YouTube has a support button. So you can always click on that if you don't want to buy anything, but you'd like to support my live broadcasts and all of that. One of those two would be great. Yeah, we have to discuss that, Michelle, because I don't either. I want to like bring my whole art room with me, and I can't do that. All right, I will talk to you guys later. I'm going to go try to grab some lunch. I have a friend coming over in a little bit to art with me. Bribery, Teresa. I see that. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.